Rocksteady's final installment of the Batman Arkham games finally saw release last month, and fans of the series have been treated to a beautifully, meticulously designed engine of great gameplay ever since. Or, at least they have if they didn't pick up the PC version of the game, which is less of an engine and more of a piece of burning wreckage. Here are a couple clips of the PC version in action, running on my PC with a GTX 680 graphics card, an i7 processor, and 18 gigabytes of RAM. With the mandatory, yes, mandatory, 30 frames per second lock, the on-foot segments are mostly fine with the occasional juddering. But once the Batmobile comes out to play, the game just can't keep up, falling as low as 10 frames per second at times. It gets even worse if you alt-tab out of the game. At this point, it might as well just be a killer hangover simulator.
Stay calm.
Easy for you to say, Bats. Gordon can't just jump into detective mode to alleviate the problem. The PC problems are so severe and so pervasive that Warner Bros. Has removed the game from Steam and urged other retailers to stop selling it as well. But for those of you who plan to play Arkham Knight on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, you're in for a great time. Everything that was so good about Arkham City is here too, but improved. Combat is more complicated and often more difficult, but also more responsive, making you feel even more powerful and badass in your most triumphant moments. Traversing the city by sky is more satisfying this time around, especially once you fully upgrade your grapnel boost. Even the Predator encounters, which admittedly occur a bit less often this time around, are more interesting due to your new fear takedown ability. It's as satisfying as it looks. That brings us to the Batmobile, the most controversial addition to Arkham Knight. It's just as problematic as people are saying it is. Don't get me wrong, the Batmobile is fun. It feels responsive, the tank combat is varied and well designed, and its incorporation into several of the Riddler puzzles is inventive. But it just never gels with the rest of the game.
Welcome to my racetrack, detective.
Since Batman can fling himself above the city at absurd speeds with a couple of button presses, actually using the Batmobile for traversal feels archaic and counterproductive. Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads. Rather than figuring out how the Batmobile could enhance the gameplay systems that worked so well in the Arkham Asylum and Arkham City games, it feels like Rocksteady had to shove a new threat into the game just to justify the vehicle's existence. There's just no good reason why a Batman game should feature an invading army of tanks. Yet there they are, also that the Batmobile will have something to do other than being a comparably boring alternative to air travel. These tank sequences feel like they come from a different game altogether, and jumping back and forth between them and the more traditional Batman sequences can give a player gameplay whiplash. It can really overwhelm the game at times too. For instance, of the AR challenges, this game's version of Arkham City's Riddler challenges, 65% of them are focused on the Batmobile. 65%! The other big drawback to Arkham Knight is, unfortunately, the story. You see, as soon as... Oh, right. No spoilers. I'll be brief then. Arkham Knight is full of seemingly disparate plot lines that never fully come together. One story in particular, which is part of the game's main quest, is narratively redundant nonsense at best and a finale-destroying mess at worst. About that finale, it has its moments with some cool and unexpected gameplay sequences, but it's ultimately disappointing, even if you 100% the game to get the so-called true ending. Yes, I 100%ed this game, and yes, I'm gloating about it by showing this screen. Hey, after 243 Riddler challenges, I've earned it. Anyway, after talking at length about PC issues, the Batmobile, and story problems, it may sound like I'm coming down pretty hard on Arkham Knight. I'm not. Despite those glaring errors, Arkham Knight is one of the most fun titles I've played this year, and one that I would gladly recommend to anybody who enjoyed the first two games in the series. This may be our last chance to be the Batman, so we should take it.